Alright, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be working on this car finally. I've just been driving around getting my tune dialed in on the 93 pump, but what I do need to add is the ethanol sensor, so that's what I'm going to be working on, these fuel lines that I've said I was going to do over a month ago, probably longer. I was on vacation for a little bit out of state and then come back to a hurricane that ripped out my two trees that were probably like 30 feet, 40 feet, probably longer. One of them hit the house right there from the hurricane barrel. So a lot of trees got ripped out and just been busy cutting up all that and getting it all taken care of. So yeah, we'll see what I can get done on here and try to document a couple of these lines. I'm going to change the orientation of the fuel lines. So it looks like I'm going to be coming in from the feed down to here, down to this feed line, from feed down here, come around, jump over, come back over here, and this line is going to be the one that I'm going to put the ethanol sensor on, so it'll be on the return side, and go back in there so I can monitor the ethanol content. So yeah, we're going to make some push lock fitting hoses and get it all buttoned up and make sure I can read some ethanol content. Alright, so I just took the charge pipe off. It gives me more access to get all the fuel lines. This is all stuff I did for the Texas 2K. I'm going to take that out and try to clean this up, rerun them the way I was saying. And alright, so I've been dabbling with this for a little bit. I got the OEM bracket that came on this flex fuel sensor. I flipped the sensor upside down. I bent it by hand a little. I'm going to put it on that ground, but I think that'll be a good spot for me to come from this rail into here clean, out of here, and back into this regulator here. But that should be a fairly good spot. I'm going to go ahead and test out the charge pipe on here off the throttle body, but I think that'll clear, and that'll be a good spot where I felt comfortable with the fuel lines not being near the turbo. That's my big thing. Over here there's not really too much, but if I can keep them off of being rubbed on something, that's going to be the goal. So we're going to work with that. And then actually what I was noticing is I can actually take this mechanical pressure gauge, and I'm going to take this line that goes right into this rail, and we're just going to jump this straight to the feed there, so I can still have my mechanical gauge up here. I'll still have my electrical gauge on the return side of the fuel pressure, so that'll still work, and I can keep all my gauges. So all that would entail is making one line to jump from this rail to this rail, and cutting this line that's currently here and splicing in the ethanol sensor. So that'll be the route. It's going to come out of there, straight into this rail, over, jump to this rail, back, come out of there into the ethanol sensor, out of there into the regulator, and then return out of the regulator back to the tank. So that's going to be the setup that I'm going to go with. So everything looks like it's going to work out, but I'm going to test fit this charge pipe and see if it clears, and from there we'll start making some lines. Alright, so got some updates here. So we ended up taking this fuel line, it's ran straight up here. I put the mechanical gauge straight off the feed, so this is coming straight from the pump. We're dropping down into the first fuel rail here. We're coming to the front. I just did the push lock fitting. We're going to jump from here to that one. This is going to be the final position for the ethanol sensor. I got to tighten it down. It's not tightened down, but I put the charge pipe on and we're clear. My line can come from this rail here right in, then back out, and it's going to come around and go right into here where my electrical pressure gauge is. And that should complete the fuel system with the ethanol sensor tapped in. Obviously the harness I made a couple weeks ago now. It's been working like a champ, so I got my speed density wire there, and I'll jump this other end from the mass airflow to the ethanol sensor itself. Alright, so I got that 6AN pushed on. I also got this sleeve, so I got a decent amount of it. Slid that over. I don't have any heat shrink that's large enough to go over it, also I would just heat shrink that on. I just used electrical tape and pulled it really tight. Hopefully it holds up, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the other end here, press that fitting on, and then go ahead and just get the whole line sleeved, so at least it looks a lot better, and it'll protect it from rubbing and all that stuff like that. The sleeve will help out a lot. So yeah, it'll be nice to have that on this line. I don't know if I'm going to do it to the other lines because they're already pre-made and I don't feel like pulling them apart just to sleeve them. But I think that one day that's definitely something I'm going to want to do, is start sleeving my lines one by one. But this is, so far, you can see, came out pretty good. I like the push lock. I like that there's no clamps or anything needed. My whole fuel system has been like that for over 2 years now. When I built the car originally, it's all push lock. No clamps anywhere on any of the fuel lines. Just A and push lock. So we're going to keep rolling with that, and yeah, we're going to finish this line up and get this front hooked up. This is going to jump from one side to the other. I got to fish it through behind the alternator, power steering pump, AC. It goes right in, tucks in pretty nice. So it might be a pain to get it in there with this fitting, but I don't think I'm going to be able to push it on right here in the car. So let me go get this put together and then we'll check it out. Alright, so we got this line done. I showed earlier, push lock. I got the braid on it. Push lock. Came out really nice. Braid's got a little play in it, so that'll help protect the hose from rubbing through. So now I'm just going to feed it through and lock it in. We're almost there. Got the feed in. This is going to connect the rail to rail, and I just got to modify that back line to go through the ethanol sensor, plug it all in, and we're good. So I'll jump back in a few minutes. Alright, got that line tightened up. You can see braid runs under the inlet, comes back around, runs around down there, swoops around the AC compressor and right into this rail. So it's got the sleeve on it. Should help with vibration or anything like that. I guess we'll see. Like I said, I got the other line already done. I'm not going to run the sleeve. Maybe I might take it off and just run the sleeve on it. Alright, so I got this Russell push lock tool. Super cool tool. It's got 4 dies for 4 AN, 6 AN, 8 and 10, I believe. I have a little, 10. So since I'm working on this line here, this is one of the original push lock that I did. So I went ahead and cut the line. This is going to be for the flex fuel sensor. So grab the 6 die, and it has the little cutouts on this side right here for the actual fitting for this back piece right here. So this right here sits right in there. So this sits right in that die. This is going to go right in here. So we're going to drop it in there. And we're going to go ahead and set up this hose. This is going to go in here. We're going to pinch it down. It should be large enough. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to go in there. Make sure we got enough room to press that fitting all the way through. That should be about good. We're going to tighten these back down. Going to cinch it down. Essentially, basically just like Chinese finger trap. That's what push locks are. So once they go in, it takes an enormous amount of pressure. You're probably going to blow the hose before you ever push that fitting back out. And this will far surpass any fuel pressure that I have in my Subaru. So this is why I ended up going this route. It looks a lot cleaner. I just like the overall feel of it. So I'm going to straighten that out. We're just going to start twisting this. We're going to make sure this goes right in there. So, and as you start pushing, you will start seeing, there we go. Whoops, I'm going to have to use 2 hands, one to hold it and one to twist. Let me see if I can set this up real quick. Alright, hopefully the camera's going to catch it, but we got that push lock fitting in there. We're just going to keep twisting. It's going to start pushing it through. There we go, little by little. actually sit all the way down. This fitting shouldn't be spinning. So I think what we're going to have to try and do, I don't want to have to make this line over again. I'm going to try it one more time, see if it'll go in. Normally it just goes right together, no issues at all. But of course, when I need it to work, it's not working. So I definitely seated. This fitting does not move anymore. Alright, so we got the next line done. This one's going from this back rail here to the ethanol sensor. That's all tightened down. Got the fitting on there already. So we're going to go ahead and put this one in, and we'll make up that last line that jumps back to the regulator, and that should be it. And we will be good to go. So let me keep working on that. Alright, so this is the last line. This is coming from the regulator. This is going to the flex fuel sensor, or the ethanol sensor. So we're going to go ahead and put the sleeve on this and then throw the fitting on it. So the sleeve opens up pretty wide. Then all we're going to do is we're going to slide this down. Let's get our fitting in there. Alright, we're going to drop our fitting in. Give me a little more room. Alright, we are locked in. Get it centered. And I'm going to start twisting. And let's see. It should go in fairly smooth. There we go. Look at that. Take it all the way down. Our bottoms out. And we're bottomed out. Let's go back. There we go. Unloosen these. Slide that out. And there you go. Pushed all the way up. Nice and tight. It's pretty good. Looks good. And we're going to slide this back up. Pull that slack back. And should bring it all the way back up to that. We're going to go ahead and wrap that one. Give it a couple of wraps. And there we go. Nice sleeve. Everything looks good. Go toss this in the car. Let's get this final connection on there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and toss this fitting on. It's a quick disconnect. It's going to go right on the flex fuel sensor, give me my 6AN out so I can install the line I just made. But the O-rings are a little dry, so I'm going to take a little bit. This is what I use. I use Vaseline. I use this stuff right here. Just put a little bit on the pulled out this last fuel line that is not sleeved. I'm gonna go ahead and put a sleeve on it, see if I can get it over the fittings. I should be able to, and then reinstall it. But other than that, we're all back together. Got a complete fuel system and got the flex fuel, everything, ethanol sensor all plugged in. We'll take a little overview right now after I do this, but let me put this sleeve on and we'll just check everything out one last time. Alright, we got this piece all wrapped up, sleeved up and everything, looks good. So toss this back in, give it a little protection. Just tightened up the last hose. So just to do a quick overview again, coming out of the feed there, we're dropping down, we're coming right into this rail, and coming out here to the front, jumping back over right through there into this rail, coming back, and it's a little hard to see, but out of this rail back here, where right here there's a line, it's coming around and it's going straight into the flex fuel sensor, and then that one's coming back out up into the regulator. So this is all pressurized. I got my electrical pressure sensor tied in there, the mechanical's coming straight off the feed, so it'll be interesting to see any pressure drop difference between the feed and the essentially like the backside. If there is any, there shouldn't be any problem there, but it'll be interesting to see that. But other than that, everything's hooked back up. I got the charge pipe off, but I'm going to go ahead and put the battery back on, and we're going to pressurize this, and I'm going to just look around to see if I see any leaks or anything, because we don't need any of that happening. So all right, let's go ahead and put the key on and check the pressures.